Welcome to the Dog Nerd Show, where we geek out over our best friends. I'm Megan.
And I'm Michael, and this is a show about all things dog.
Hey, everybody. We have a great episode for you today. Today, we talk about one of the ultimate working dogs, the Belgian Malinois.
Yeah, and so here on the Dog Nerd Show, we are here to entertain you and educate you about dogs. So please subscribe down below and hit the notification bell. We put these out every 2 weeks, and we look forward to interacting with you via our social media, which you can find us anywhere social media happens.
And now let's listen to David and learn all about the Belgian Malinois. All right, so we are here with David and Baggie, and we are talking all about the Belgian Malinois. So this is a pretty special person and a pretty special dog, but David, tell us what it's like to be a guardian, I don't like saying owner, of a Belgian Malinois.
Very fun and challenging, to put it like in short. It's not for the faint of heart. I would recommend for it not be a new dog, or for a new dog owner.
Mm-hmm.
I would highly recommend somebody who's active, who runs a lot. Because Baggie, when I end up having to put him on a treadmill, not anymore, but when he was younger, just to keep him calm most of the time. He would run, 12 miles a day, easy.
Wow. So energy level off the charts, yeah?
Yeah, off the charts.
When I was doing a little research about them, because I know about the breed and I know they're a good working dog, but I was thinking to myself, terriers are working dogs that have a lot of energy, but these guys are like the ultimate working dog, right?
Well, that's why the military and law enforcement picks them, because they work nonstop. Like if all three of us, went for a run, or if we were all doing the same job, I could literally pass him off to you, and then he'd be fresh for you.
Wow.
And, so on and so forth.
That's incredible.
And we're talking like off the charts energy. If they don't have something to do, then I would imagine they can be very destructive.
Yes. So we moved from our house where we had just under 3 acres to this house where it's less than an acre.
Oof.
And about a quarter of an acre, actually. And I had to run him and our other dog, Bo, every single day. And it ended up just me going for a bike ride and them running next to me, because I can't run that far.
Yeah.
Not every day.
You're like, oh my God, I'm wasting away.
Yeah. And with 2 dogs, that's twice now.
Yeah.
So a lot of treadmills, a lot of throwing the ball. Like I wouldn't say all Belgian Malinois are ball driven, but a lot are.
Okay.
And if they're ball driven, that's great. They'll chase it forever. This one likes to swim. Bo did not.
Okay.
He was not. So he was the dog that was like trying to walk on the water.
Yeah.
You usually have to get in there with him and swim with him. But yeah, Baggie loves to swim. He'll swim for days.
That's great. That's a good form of exercise.
It is. So what's the overall demeanor, would you say, of a Belgian Malinois? Because I think there might be some misconception of what they're like. So
I attribute demeanor with the handler. So if you are the alpha, they do fine. Both my Malinois do great with my kids. I have a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. Should be 9 this year, 9-year-old. So they do fine with them, and they crawl all over and pull on their legs and their ears and their tail, and I'm watching them as well. I don't let them bully the kids or vice versa. So
yeah.
They do very well. They do very well with other dogs, as long as you are confident and as the pack leader, and you are you're not nervous. Your leash is loose. There's a lot of slack in the leash. You're a social person. If you seem nervous, then they're going to be nervous. So it really just depends on you.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some Malinois that have little quirks. Like Baggie doesn't like it when you get near him when he eats his food.
Mm.
He won't bite you, but he just stops eating and gets really tense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't let the kids feed him. Bo doesn't care. I had I trained it's a separate breed, but they're very similar. It's a Dutch Shepherd. Very quirky dogs, in my opinion. Every Dutch Shepherd that I ever come across are very quirky.
Hmm.
Each one of them has like a thing. They don't like to be pet or don't like to be touched on the head or something silly.
Wow.
But that could be the way that they're bred
Mm-hmm.
to some extent.
Yeah.
Some sort of thing was passed along. But Malinois are not that way. Not that I've seen.
So once you integrated them with the family and, obviously gave the dogs rules and the kids rules, good for the family?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Very protective, especially if you have an active family.
Yeah.
They I wouldn't recommend it necessarily for a family with a kid or somebody who had a disability,
Mm-hmm.
just because they are active and that could slow you down in some ways. And like we discussed earlier, having a dog, especially a Mal, is like having a toddler forever. So it could add more stress.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, like it has taught me how to be more patient. And dogs don't use words, so picking up on nonverbals and little things, how they communicate,
Yeah.
is how I can, helps communicate with kids who can't actually express themselves yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of communication, are they barkers?
They can be.
Okay.
Baggie's not much of a barker. Normally they bark when they're bored.
Mm.
They bark and they dig and they do all those, like they chew on things usually when they're bored. And
Yeah.
I've seen Baggie, if he's been stuck, like back when we were working and he was stuck in the kennel for a weekend, I would show up and I could hear him barking and he's just spinning around in a circle in his little kennel. So it's time to go for a run. So they can. Bo would bark when there were fireworks, or when they heard sirens, or things like that.
But just not nuisance barkers unless you're not exercising them enough.
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
Well, the other thing, they would bark at people that would come up to the door, which is really great.
Yeah, that's
Whether
good.
they knew them or not. It's like, hey, Dad, someone's at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do they shed?
Yes. Yeah, I'm covered in it. It's not quite as bad as some dogs, but they do require a lot of grooming.
Okay.
Definitely after you give them a bath, but about once a week or twice a week is good. With the name of the shedder, or the
is it the Furminator?
Furminator, yes. It's that undercoat.
Yep.
That undercoat is the problem.
Yep.
And especially, I'm in Florida and it gets stupid hot.
Oof.
So you can swim with them, that's great. But again, you're going to have to hit them with that Furminator.
Yeah.
And get that undercoat.
Yep.
Baggies isn't so bad anymore now that he's older for some reason.
Okay.
I that's an older dog thing, but.
So really, with is it the brushing is most of? I mean, other than just cleaning the ears and trimming the nails, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like you're not there. You don't cut their hair, do you? Their fur?
No. Yeah, it doesn't. They're not long-haired dogs, or technically short-haired dogs.
Yeah.
Their fur's kind of oily. So Sarah, my wife, is allergic to the oils on their fur. So she can pet them for a little bit, and then she has to go wash her hands.
Oh, okay.
Because they're kind of really oily.
Okay.
And that sounds horrible. It's not that bad, but
yeah. No, it's a protective layer of
yeah.
Yeah, I know labs are like that as well. Yeah. They have an oily. I used to have a lab that would walk up and down the hallway at our house that I grew up in, and it left this brown mark on the side of the wall all the way. Like, oh, there, yeah, no
time to repaint.
Yeah.
So Baggie's a senior fella. How old is he?
He's as old as Sarah and I've been married, so 13 years.
Okay, we hope you got that right.
Otherwise, I'm in trouble. Yeah, he's 13 years old. So when I adopted him, he's originally from Holland, and he came from a kennel there. And he looked at the time older than he was. So I remember our two trainers were looking at him like they were kind of competing as to who was going to get who. And he was a pre-title dog. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with, Schutzen and ring sport.
Mm-hmm.
So there in Europe, that's a big deal. And they groom these dogs to compete.
Okay.
So Baggie was what they call a pre-title dog. So he was being groomed. I guess he didn't make the cut. So then they sold him to us. Sorry, I lost you guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So then they sold him to us, and here we are. But at the time he looked older than he was. They guessed about 3 years old.
Okay.
So based on that math, it's
Yeah.
been 10 years. So.
Okay. So any health issues that you know of that they have as a breed?
So when we were selecting dogs, and I didn't do very much of that, I was just present for it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we selected them, we looked at their gait, make sure that they don't have any hip issues,
Mm-hmm.
any sort of like arthritis or like precursors to it. So that's it's very similar to German Shepherds.
Okay.
So that's common. Beyond that, I mean, as of right now that he's getting older, I can tell that his smell isn't what it used to be. Of course, he was a detection dog, so that it was solid.
Yeah.
His hearing, he's getting old. I have to yell at him to get him to come here because he just can't hear me.
Yeah.
Kids like to sneak up on him a lot. His eyesight is still okay. It's just not as good as it used to be. I can tell.
Yeah.
But I mean, beyond that, he's 13, still kicking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're usually they don't survive this long, from at least military working dogs.
Okay.
Because they've had
a tougher
the mess
life
kicked out of them.
than most.
Yeah, there you go. That's a better way to put it.
Very different from a dog that grew up in a home and didn't do all of the things that he did.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you said early on, this is probably not a dog for everyone because, let's just face it. I mean, if you want to lay on your sofa and chill with a dog, this dog will only do that after you've worn it out. So probably not a good idea. And then I'm thinking, like you said, definitely not a good first time dog parent dog.
No, not without extensive training.
Okay.
I would go to many dog training courses or handling courses before taking on a Belgian Malinois.
And I did see an interview with someone talking about this breed and said that if you love training animals, this is a good dog for you. But let's face it, most people don't love training their dogs. They get a dog for a companion.
Yeah, they get a 9 to 5. They're they're
busy.
They're looking for that dog to be the family dog that's, they can come home and can take for a walk and then the day's over. That's what most people are.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like if you want a Belgian, then you're going to need to probably put the time in. And it sounds like from you, you probably need to put the time in even before you make that decision to get a Belgian.
Yes. So like your lifestyle has to fit it. Your house, everything about you has to fit this dog. So you have to be a very, very, very active person. Like it helps if you work outside and you can bring your dog to work.
Mm-hmm.
They're very social animals. They want to be a part of a pack. That's great. Like if your job is to survey the Appalachian Trail, phenomenal dog.
Sounds like a great job, actually.
Yeah. So in that regard, yes. I mean, they're an all around great dog. You just have to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
They do great at the end of the day. Like right now, Baggie's asleep. Now Baggie's also old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baggie probably took many, many years for Baggie to get to this point to be where he's like, yeah, I'm tired.
Yes. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it just happened last week.
Luckily, I had a job that was my job. My job was to play with him and train with him all day, at least for 8 hours a day, every single day.
Wow. So. Oh, goodness. I just love David and Baggie.
Yeah. What a cool story.
Yeah. So as you guys know, Belgian Malinois are very high energy dogs. They're meant to work. So I think David really explained what it's like to have one and what you should expect if you want one. So I think we can all agree this is not the breed for everyone. I don't think we could ever have one.
No, the energy levels are through the roof.
We're a little too lazy for one, but so great to learn all about this beautiful, hardworking breed. And we look forward to bringing you part 2, where we talk about David and Baggie and their work together in the military. Because these dogs, if there's any dog meant to work as a police dog or a military dog, this is that dog. So we can't wait to bring you part 2. Thank you so much for tuning in, and follow us everywhere online at Dog Nerd Show. Drop us a line at dognerdshow@gmail.com if you would like to be interviewed about your breed.
And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Till next time.
Bye guys.